Deep in the shadows, I know it's hard to put one foot in front of the other.
Hi everyone, CeeChronicles here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I post fragrance related content on this platform, and if that style of content is something that you like, please do consider subscribing and joining the family. I'd very much appreciate it if you did decide to come on board by clicking the red subscribe button. Now, to those who are returning, thank you so much guys for the continued support. Also note that I do have a second channel, CeeChronicles Unscripted. The link of that channel is in the description if you'd like to follow that channel. I focus on vlogs as well as Western fragrances, and I'm going to leave a little clip there of the channel for ease of reference. In the same description box, you're going to find a PayPal donate link in case you want to donate anything at all towards some of the purchases of the fragrances on this channel. Welcome to today's fragrance review. We have Fede, and this one says Aura Kiss of Rose. I had a smile on my face when I sprayed this for the very first time. This is not first impressions, by the way. I'm just going to spray it again in its box there because I do not have a place to spray. I've been doing videos back to back. But why I had that big smile was I said, Fede, you got me. It was bittersweet in the sense that the minute I sprayed it, I knew I had it right. But then again, it's not a lost cause on this channel, because what I always strive to do is to ensure that I clue you up on what's what, to avoid repetitions, or to get you to compare prices, or say for instance you have seen a fragrance here I've spoken about and you can't get a hold of it, and you then realize, oh, this one smells like it as well, so it makes it easier for you to just grab the one that I would have spoken about. So this is going to be a repeat of one of the fragrances that I did bring here, or a couple of fragrances actually. The DNA in itself opens up with a bright fruitiness to it, very effervescent. They're young at heart, sweet wrap up of fruit. The most prominent that comes to the surface right away is going to be plum, and then followed by a juicy apple. That is what you're going to get. So it's going to be plum and apple. Those are the two that are going to be alternating there. I think it also does have a lychee in the mix there. The lychee just adds to the fizziness of those, okay, because lychee usually adds like an aquatic watery tone to a fragrance, but it doesn't dilute this fragrance enough to make it less sweet. It remains a sweet, effervescent, fruity forward fragrance with a little touch of spices, florals that attempt to come to the surface, and the dry down of this fragrance, especially that jasmine. It tries a lot to come out, amidst those fruits. So if you love jasmine, you're going to get wafts of that jasmine in here. And then the wrap up of it is a fragrance that keeps that fruitiness with a slight tone of the florals and a patchouli there in the mix. The patchouli doesn't bother me here. It's not a dirty patchouli. It's just a patchouli, I guess, that was used, to add to the weight of this fragrance. The Fede threw us off when it came to this, because when I purchased this particular one, actually I purchased two at the same time. One is called Floral Crisp or Crisp Floral, something like that. They come in an identical packaging, but the other one is pink. So I was going to do a comparison of them. But if you watched my other channel, I did explain why I was not able to bring the other one. Is because I had to halve my luggage to make sure that I do not cross over the limit in terms of the weight of what I had. So the second one is going to come in another video. When I bought this, I didn't test it. I just thought this is probably going to be in the same vein as Linda Trésor, because if you look at the way it says Kiss of Rose, Linda Trésor has got the rose. The bottle itself kind of looks like maybe it's Linda Trésor. It has nothing, guys, to do with Linda Trésor by Lancôme. In fact, it comes across as that obvious Eden Juicy Apple by Kayali concoction, right? Very, very close to this as well. Now, why I am giving credit to Eden Juicy Apple by Kayali is because the inspiration is this one, right? I'm gonna put this as the original. Whether they took it from another whatever, I don't know. I just know this as the one DNA that made rounds in the social media space, and then other fragrance companies started to make their renditions and stuff. I do understand that there is a Bath and Body Works that kind of smells like this, so I'm not trying to bring a debate out there. I'm just saying I'm comparing it to this because I've brought you this before. So what we're going to do when it comes to this one, guys, is I'm just going to tell you the differences because it lands in my collection as bottle number 4 of a juice that is uncanny in resemblance to Kayali's Eden Juicy Apple, right? The second one that I bought was this one that turned out to be, again, a concoction that is inspired by Eden Juicy Apple. But this one is from Fragrance World and it's called Bella Dulce Red Delice, right? So it was the Eden Juicy Apple I got first. And then I got this one and it turned out to be a clone of that. And then I got Sublime, turned out to be a clone of that, and now I have this. So we're gonna just wrap it up by me telling you what I feel are the differences, if any, okay, compared of course to this one. I did bring this one as a standalone and I said I liked it. It lacked in longevity, something that I feel I do not get from this. In fact, from Kiss of Rose, I get a fragrance very close to this. It actually feels like Sublime rebottled to the T, because in Sublime I get a spicy twist there, not too spicy enough to disturb the fruitiness of the fragrance. So I'm gonna pass this off as almost, Sublime rebottled. And then the differences from this are going to be the fact that I do get a little bit of a blackcurrant here, right? But say wearing either of these fragrances, nobody will be able to tell them apart. Now, onto the Fragrance World one, which is Bella Dulce Red Delice. This fragrance, I'm going to say, started off as being at par one-on-one with this to the T. It actually felt as this Eden Juicy Apple rebottled, but in its defense, I'm going to say it has macerated to somewhat of a thicker concoction. But simply put, and to cut to the chase, I'm going to say these 4 fragrances, let me hold them like this, smell the same. It's going to be an issue of affordability, accessibility, preference, presentation, that sort of. If you are one that loves Kayali, I'm going to say, of course, go for the Kayali one, because this one, I'm going to give it its flowers as being the one that probably started this hype, because, Mona created this fragrance and it did take over YouTube and stuff like that. So I'm going to give it its credit. If you want to add to your Kayalis, Eden Juicy Apple is the one to go for. Now, if you are looking for a twist, but that does not stray a lot from Eden Juicy Apple, only adding a spicy twist, which I feel it is that spiciness that adds longevity to both these fragrances, then I'm going to say this one. Another thing maybe to also help you is this, though I am avoiding to put gender to fragrances, these days, I'm going to say this one has got that 80% feminine vibe, even young at heart to an extent. There's something that youngsters are going to like. But this, because of that tad bit spiciness, it's given me something very close to this Offset, which is something that this one meandered and took twists and turns before it could land to something that was thicker in presentation. So that is the only reason why I am not passing this one off outright as being at par with these. But after you wear them, guys, they're going to smell the same. But if you're going for longevity, obviously I'm going to say either one of these is going to do it. This one is more affordable to you. Grab this because Fede does have fragrances that have a decent lasting power. I have 4 Fades in my collection at the moment. I'm trying to build them up to 10. In fact, let me say 5 because I've got the other one on its way. So I'm trying to build them up to 10, and then I'm going to bring the 10 to you for you to be able to make a choice. But it does feel or seem like Fede is also a clone company, but they do put a little bit of some work there in terms of their fragrances having a decent staying power. So yeah, this feels a lot like Sublime, Offset, and it kind of is promising me to do more. The first impressions for Sublime for me were not like you know what I'm getting here. This is why I'm saying this one has a promise that it might actually do better, because with Sublime there was a little bit of again, you know, going round, although that going round was just for about 2 weeks. If you watch my initial review, you will see that I said I'm not smelling much from this fragrance, and then when I revisited it after you guys said no, try it, you know, it does get better with time. I revisited it after 2 weeks or so. It was just a beautiful mix of that bright fruity tone of an apple. So because this one has just nailed it offset by presenting as identical to Sublime, I kind of have a little hope that this one actually might end up maybe performing better. So yes, guys, that's what I have for you. Kiss of Rose from the Fade smells very similar to Kayali's Eden Juicy Apple. I recommend all four. It's just going to depend on your pocket. If you like this presentation, go for it. If you love Sublime, go for it, especially if you are a Lattafa follower, or if you love Lattafa, then go for the Sublime. If Fragrance World is the one accessible to you, go for that one, because Fragrance World fragrances are quite affordable. However, if you have any one of these, then it will be redundant to purchase this one, because honestly speaking, it just feels like Sublime rebottled, right? Or Kayali's Eden Juicy Apple rebottled, that type of thing. So having all of them doesn't make sense. It's a bummer on my part, but it's good news in the sense that I get to clue you up to avoid you buying the same thing over and over again. CeeChronicles is my name. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. Let's meet in the comment section where we'll obviously discuss more about fragrances. Let me know your thoughts about this fragrance. If you do have it, let me know. Do turn on post notifications on both my channels while you're at it. That way you get to be notified anytime I upload a video. Meanwhile, like and share this one, guys, and remember that smelling good is a form of good manners. Cheers.